Yay! Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to show up. I know we're all busy. So first things first, does anyone have any recognition or anyone they want to shout out or their team or anything at all? Please unmute.
I do. One of my coaches, Erin McGinley, she's going to be going Emerald tomorrow.
Yay! That's a huge deal.
Yeah. I'm so proud of her.
I actually have a shout out. I know I mentioned it on our team call last night, but my girl Trina Diaz just told me that her girlfriend not only is supporting her, but that her girlfriend is going to be quitting her job and coaching full time.
What? That's a big deal.
Big deal.
So excited for her. Anybody else want to say anything?
I think everyone probably saw it in either group, but Sarah Bushy got invited to speak at her Super Saturday in Gainesville next weekend.
Yay. Dude, that's so amazing.
I
have one real quick.
Yeah, what?
I want to shout out my boy James Gary, who's just been on this journey for like over a year now, and he's finally getting able to come to Super Saturday. It's on a Friday. I've never met him, so I'm excited to meet him and give him a big old bear hug because he's just.
feel as though that with that,
you guys don't know him. He's such a great guy, so I'm happy to have him.
I just feel like that's going to be
that's going to be amazing. I'm going to mute.
If they ever go to like that. I feel like this is
Mute everyone.
I don't think Dennis or
Oh,
Dennis was a mark, but I think
You go to the participants.
I got it. Is that better? Yay!
I wanted to give a shout out. I just wanted to shout out everybody that's on this fucking call right now, because you guys are here and you're showing up and you're putting your best foot forward on a Wednesday night and taking time out of your busy lives with your humans, your children, anything to show up on this call, because you guys know what this opportunity can do and what this community can do and what these programs have done for your life. So everybody just needs to give yourself a pat on the back for showing up and not giving up and being fucking consistent. Now I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to fucking cry.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. You know, a huge part of this business is just showing up, right? So good job, everybody. There's actually a lot of people on this call, too, which is really awesome. So does anyone have anything before I continue? Nope. Okay. Colleen asked me to do like a Q&A type of thing. She had a couple questions, well, quite a few questions that she wanted me to specifically answer. So I did my best to kind of break it down. I'm not super good at breaking it down. So if you guys have a question about something or it doesn't make sense or you need to elaborate more, will you please say so? Because that would help me. And I know it would help, I'm sure, other people as well. Her first question for me was, what is the main thing you focus on each month to hit Success Club? The main thing. Of course, there was like a million trillion things running through my mind, and I was like, and writing a paragraph. But I'm like, okay, the main thing. And the main thing for me would have to be consistency in my business and being 100% open and honest with my following. So what do I mean by that? Posting a social media daily, like that is key. And being honest, and I'm doing that. So like maybe so you know how I missed my workout for like 3 days, right? I didn't pretend it didn't happen. I acknowledged it and I talked about it on my social media. And I feel like that is huge. Being present, being honest, and consistent on social media. And then obviously sharing my journey, you know, with my workouts, my personal development, my business, sharing my struggles, sharing my vulnerabilities, you know, like that's a big deal because that's how people relate to us, right? Is being honest and vulnerable and sharing our struggles and also sharing the good things, you know, the accomplishments and stuff like that. Also being really intentional with my posts and making sure I share what I have to offer consistently in my social media, you know, with the accountability groups, you know, 30-minute workouts, simplified meal plan, support, accountability, nutrition, you know, like just being very honest, like, this is what I have to offer. There's no like magical thing. Like we all have this to offer. I just say it all the time. And connecting is huge. I do all of these things plus connecting. These are the main things I focus on each month consistently to hit Success Club. I've done this since day one. I do this now. I talk to everyone, literally everywhere, because the most important thing is literally getting our faces out there. That tells social media to consistently put our posts and, you know, our pictures or videos or whatever in the newsfeed. That way more people see them. That way when we have opportunity posts or things we want to invite people to, people actually see it, right? All right. Does that make sense? Yeah? No? Yeah? Okay. I'm looking at everybody's faces here. I don't know if I'm lagging or not. Her second question was, when I'm feeling down or frustrated or out of my groove, what are some things I focus on specifically? First and foremost, gratitude. And I've learned that negativity and like a funky mood and just being poopy and also being grateful, those can't exist together. You know, like, granted, if you're sick or something, you know, that's different. But something that always pulls me out of my funk is really sitting down and focusing on gratitude, what I'm grateful for, self-reflection, you know, looking back at where I started, looking back at the girl before Beachbody. Like, I go through my photos and my albums on Facebook that I have hidden, and I look at them. I look how I used to feel, and it really gives me a sense of like, wow, I've actually like perspective, right? Like, it shows me how far I've come, and that makes me feel so grateful that I'm not there anymore. And it works almost every time of pulling myself out of a funk. As far as like, you know, my business growth too, looking at that. I did that on Monday when I got back from my trip. I think it was Monday. Janelle and I sat down. We were both kind of in a funk, so we power houred and we did that together. We just tracked our business growth, and we're like, wow, actually things are progressing, right? And and the third thing for that one is personal development. Hard. I've gone through some really tough shit since I've been a coach, and the thing that has gotten me through that is personal development and leaning into this community. Like, personal development has saved my marriage. You know, this community, Beachbody, has saved my marriage. So I stand by that. Those are huge. And if you're not doing it, you are severely missing out. She also, okay, when a new coach comes on board, what do you help them focus on first action-wise? So when I sponsor a new coach, the first thing I want to help them understand is their why. Because I know from personal experience that if I didn't have a really strong why, a driving force as to why I'm even here in this business, I would have quit a long time ago, right? Because like, quitting is easy. But by helping, you know, your coaches define like that emotional reason of why they're even doing this, it lights that fire for them that they're not going to give up. They're not going to give up on themselves. So when I was new and Colleen was helping me kind of define my why, of course, my first thing was, I just want to help people. And she, you know, she's like, yeah, that's a byproduct of what we do as a coach. Everybody wants to do that. That's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then she wanted me to dig deeper. And I'm just like I didn't understand, right? So she's like, well, what pisses you off about your current situation? And I'm thinking like, well, I don't live with my husband, because at the time I didn't live with him. And she's like, okay, well, do you want to? And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't feel like a wife. It sucks. Like, I feel like we're separate people. And then I started telling her my story about how it was pissing me off, and it slowly developed into my why. I wanted to live with my husband again. And then I found that reason. And I was like, oh my God, like, if this opportunity could give me that, could reunite me with my husband again, like, I couldn't even imagine that, right? Like, it didn't seem possible. But I held on to it because it drove me, like, it lit that fire. Like, when I would wake up in the morning, I'm like, I just want to live with my husband. So I'm going to do all this shit that I don't want to do, or I don't feel like doing, right? Because I had a really strong why. I feel like that is huge in this business, for you to help your new coaches uncover why they're even here. Because I found in my 2+ years of coaching that the people that come on here and they don't have a really strong why, they don't know why they're doing these uncomfortable, hard things, they quit and they give up, right? Because they don't have anything weighing on it. They're, you know, it's easy to quit when, you know, you don't tie it to anything. So definitely help them dig deep for that. I feel like that is the most important thing. And then I added a little secondly is helping them announce that they're a coach and why they're doing this publicly, and sharing it with their following, getting comfortable posting on social media, because that's what we do. You know, we're social butterflies. Bye, Mira. The next question is, how do you build up your habits to stay so consistent in your fitness game? So I had to write this one out because I was just like, when I first became a coach, I realized that it was my job, right? Like, I signed on to be a coach to make this my full-time job. So working out is part of that job, right? Like, it's part of my job. I can't expect to get paid for a job I'm not doing. Granted, I didn't start this to make a shit ton of money, but obviously money is important for this opportunity and allows us to help more people, right? So in my head, that made sense to me. This is now my job. It's a non-negotiable because it's a part of my job. Same with personal development, showing all of this. It's our job, right? So even when I don't feel like it, and that doesn't mean that I'm perfect, like God, no. Like, I skipped 3 days. I just was honest about it with my following, and I was like, hey, you know, this is my job, and I totally sucked for the last 3 days, and this is why. And I think back to myself before Beachbody. Like, I think of all the women out there that are struggling, like I was, uncomfortable in their own bodies, depressed, stuck, sad, hopeless. Like, that was me. I think about the Kandace before Beachbody, and by me pressing play every day, I'm letting them know that they can do it too, right? And that's a huge part of this job as well. Like, we're thinking about us before Beachbody. We're like a light for people, like a beacon of hope or something, you know, like, we're a light for people. We show people that, hey, if I can do this, so can you. And I feel like that's such a huge, like, a much bigger picture than just being like, yeah, we work out every day. By showing up and consistently, you know, working on ourselves, you know, fitness wise, we're showing other people that they can do it. And we know what happens when we stay consistent with our fitness. We reach our goals, we feel better, you know, we're happier, we increase our confidence, and it's fun to see progress, even if it's little. And by sharing that with people, it shows them like, hey, you know, this little tiny line on my arm that's really exciting for me is really small. You know, it may seem insignificant, but it's progress, right? And it shows people that we're actually doing something. And it's our job. Next question she wanted me to address was, when you first started coaching, what helped you get your business going fast? So I'd have to say, I started off reading a different personal development book that didn't really stick with me. I didn't like it. So it was a struggle. So I was like, that's personal development. This is weird. But she then suggested I read The Compound Effect. And that was a game changer for me because it helped me understand this business kind of in a nutshell, and why these seemingly small actions that we do every day are so important, because they add up and they compound. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but like, you know, a year or 2 years, like, shit explodes. And it really helped me understand the importance of consistency in this business, right? So if you haven't read that yet, I highly suggest that you do. What line? I didn't even, yeah, the book, The Compound Effect, it's also the reason why I became sober, because I realized that seemingly small action of drinking over time could compound into alcoholism, right? Like, it works either for us or against us. And it's the same with this business. It's the same with this business. It helps me understand why I'm doing the behind the scenes actions. A huge thing too is just having faith, and trusting the process. You guys, this is a process, and this works if you work. And sometimes it's hard to believe in the not yet seen, but that's where we have to have faith, because like Colleen and me and like your upline or whomever your coach is, you see them doing things and you can have it too. You can, but you have to do the work. Like, they do it to show you what's possible. They don't do it because they're like, you know, this is awesome and I can do it and you can never. Like, that's the cool thing about this business, is we can have anything that someone before us has, as long as we're willing to be patient and do the work and show up, right? Just reading the chat. Also, in the beginning of my business, I didn't have confidence in myself. Like, I really struggled with it, like, a lot. I had to write affirmations down on Post-it notes and put them on my door. I literally put them in the bathroom. Some of them read, "You are a confident leader." At that time in my business, I didn't feel like a leader because I was a new coach, right? But I knew I wanted to be a confident leader. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm going to say it I said it in the shower. Like, I lived with someone else in a room, and I was like, this is probably weird, but I'm going to do it anyways because it makes me feel better. And something about saying things allows your brain to process it differently than thinking it. So when we say it, like, not only does it sound less scary, but we start to believe it, right? And you might seem like, you know, you're nuts or whatever, but I swear to you, it works. I was telling myself, you can do this. You're a confident leader, stuff like that. So whatever you struggle with, I would suggest writing it down onto like little affirmation cards and literally putting them everywhere that you can see them, because it's going to seep in and you're going to believe it, and then it's going to be true. That's how it works. Sometimes when I didn't want to post something on social media and it was scary, like sometimes I just did it and then walked away. And I will admit I did that a lot. And then I would realize like, okay, I didn't die. Like I didn't die, right? So I just kept doing that. I kept forcing myself to get really uncomfortable because I wanted to be kind of comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think that had a lot to do with me getting my business going fast, is that I tried to push myself to go to really uncomfortable lengths, like right in the beginning, because I knew those would yield me the most growth. And I knew that my following wanted to see me doing things out of the ordinary, right? Because people follow people that are changing. It's inspiring. Change is inspiring. And also by showing people I was doing things that were making me uncomfortable, I was letting them know that, hey, you can do this too. That's literally what this business is. It's like, hey, watch me, you know, I'm uncomfortable, I'm doing it, you can do it too. Like me leading this call right now, like 2 years ago, I would have never thought that I would be on a call doing this, because like I remember the first time Colleen ever asked me to speak on a call and I was just like, right? Like I never would. I remember sitting in the RV that I was at someone else's house and I was like, oh my God, no. And this was like over 2 years ago. I was like terrified. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but also, something that helped me see success fast in my business was working closely with my upline. Like that's what your upline is here for. You know, like we want to see you succeed and we want to work with you. It's fun. It's fun to work together. I know that sometimes you think like they're too busy for you or whatever, and it's just like not the case. Just reach out like, hey, I need help with this. I'm struggling with this. When can we chat? Let's do it. I love talking to my coaches. I love working through things together because I know that's something that was huge for me, you know, and I'm not saying that like, I know you guys are like, oh my God, what if I have a huge team and like 35 people reach out to me? Like you create leaders that are independent, right? Because like, so with like Bree and Audrey, we work together a lot. You know, we work together a lot in the beginning. We text a lot, you know, we talk a lot, and it's less now. That doesn't mean we're not working together. It just means that they're independent leaders, right? So they're not like, Kandace, how do I do this? Kandace, how do I do this? Because not only are they independent, but they're resourceful, you know? So like, that's why you work so closely with your upline in the beginning, because you help them be comfortable and confident in what they're doing. And then, you know, I want, you know, you guys to know to reach out to your upline. Like that's why we're here. We're not too busy. It's fun to work together. And the most important thing, yes, now Krista is, the most important thing is remaining extremely coachable. Taking corrective or constructive, I would say corrective, constructive criticism from people. That's just like remaining extremely coachable and not getting defensive, because when my coach gives me constructive criticism, it's because she wants to see me succeed, right? She wants to see me do things that are great and amazing, and she knows I'm capable of more. So she's helping me. She's not like nitpicking me like I suck and I need to change this, right? Even though like she could totally say that and I'd be fine, but not everyone responds well to tough love. Criticism from your upline equals knowledge equals success in your biz, Audrey says. Yeah, I mean, it's not, and it's not, criticism isn't a bad thing. We're just like, you know, your upline's here to help. So definitely reach out. Don't think that like they're too busy for you. I hear that a lot. My coach is like, I know you're busy. And I'm like, well, all you have to do is say like, you want to chat. Like Alicia and we chat weekly. Krista and I, we're now chatting weekly, you know, like, and I think Bree and I and Audrey and I, we pretty much chat weekly. Like it helps. Same with Haley. Like it helps. It definitely helps. If you need a PD suggestion, like ask your upline. I always do when I'm struggling with something. Like I was struggling with income and I'm like, I need help. Like I always just tell Colleen, I need help. I don't know what I need help with, but sometimes it just helps to talk it out. And maybe she'll suggest me a book. I'll go read it. And then that's that, right? There's 2 more questions. When you're writing your social media posts, what do you keep in mind to end up with such a rock star post? That's what she said. I would never say that about myself. So my answer for writing my posts is brain dumping. So when I have a message I want to say, sometimes it's like, well, 90% of the time, it's very jumbled up in here. So I brain dump, write it all out on my phone or notes or type it or whatever. And then I look at it and I'm like, okay, so like, where is the opening part of this message? And I'll rearrange my paragraphs and then I'll say, you know, what's like the learning experience? And then like, I'll put it into a format like where it makes sense. And then I'll look at it and I'll say, how many times can I naturally or organically weave in the opportunity, coaching, fitness, nutrition, community, like all our keywords, right? Superfood shake, whatever. How many times naturally can I weave that in? Because when I post something, my social media is my business. It is my storefront. It is everything to my business. I want to post with intention. And I can say 99% of the time, this is what I do in my posts still to this day. It took me a lot longer in the beginning to organize my posts to make sense because I didn't necessarily have my groove down or know what I'm doing. So just know I wasn't born like this. Because people always tell me how great my posts are. And I'm like, really? Like, whatever, I just write. But like, I've created those habits in the way I do things to make it that way. So just know that you can learn it and you can do it too. I like to use the format. I used to feel like, and then insert how I used to feel. So I used to feel sick, lethargic. I didn't feel good. I had no confidence. Today, and of course it's paired with a picture, and I'm like, now I feel, happy and I have confidence. I'm surrounded by a community of like-minded people. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And then I tie my post in with I've learned. So then I say through this opportunity, I've learned that it really matters who you spend your time with, because I realized before I was around people that were really negative and it was causing me to be really negative and unhappy. And once I removed myself out of, I'm just using this as an example. I don't know if I would necessarily call people out like that, but I hope you understand what I mean. It's I felt, I've learned. Like, I love that format, and you can do it in like, that could be like 3 paragraphs. That could be like 1 paragraph, a few sentences. That could be like 6 paragraphs, whatever your style is. It doesn't matter. I know I write a lot just because I talk a lot and I have a lot of thoughts, but that doesn't mean everyone's posts need to be novels. And then her last question was, what are 3 things a coach needs to master in order to hit diamond? This is my personal opinion. Letting go of the anchors in your business. What do I mean by that? Like, the first year of my business, I spent so much time trying to convince people that they wanted this. Like, I found coaches that wanted to work this business and they told me, yes, I want it. Yes, I'm doing all the things. I knew I was doing all the things, right? So what happened was I stopped focusing on growing my business and I started way over focusing on what my coaches were doing and trying to micromanage them and convince them that they can do this. They want it, right? But I really wanted it for them. And I've realized I can't want it for people. And it's no fun working with people that don't want it, right? It's way more fun when you find people that are your tribe that run with you, like Bree and Audrey and Haley and Alicia and Krista. Like, it's so much fun working together with people that get it and that want it. So my best advice for that is just move on, right? Like, and that doesn't mean you have to be mean to them and be like, I'm over you, because everyone grows their business at a different pace. So like, I have coaches on my team that are kind of discount coaches. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And that's totally fine, because that is how they work their business, right? But I don't spend all my time being like, why don't you do more? Why don't you do more? And I did that for the first year, and that sucked because it kept me from advancing in my own business. So I hope the message is in there. I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm here for them when they're ready to run, like Audrey says, but you have to like dedicate most of the energy to the people that are already running. And that's like, it's just more fun. Like, let's be honest. The second thing is this is what are 3 things a coach needs to master in order to hit diamond. My second opinion of that is shifting to a recruiting / leadership mode, right? So what does that mean? And that's not super, like, I don't want to make this super complicated, because it's not. It's literally just going from being 100% food and fitness focused in your business, and that's how you get people, is by just like sharing results and stuff, which is still amazing and great, to focusing on sharing your vision for your future and what you want Beachbody to give you, and where you're headed. So you're sharing more now of a bigger picture, rather than just I work out and I eat well and I get results. Now you're like, okay, what do I want for my life? And then you're sharing that, and then you're inviting people who may want similar things to join you. So for instance, like, I had to shift because I was very fitness focused, and it's easy to get in that spiral of just being fitness focused, because sharing the fitness is easy for me. And then I had to shift it to be like, okay, now what do I want out of this opportunity, right? So I was like, okay, so I want freedom for myself. I don't want to work at this job anymore. So I had to start sharing how I wanted freedom and how I wanted to set my own schedule and how I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted when I wanted. And I'm looking for people who may want a similar thing like that because that's my tribe, right? So it's just that, it's that shift, and it takes a minute. And something I can tell you to help with that is I had to write myself Post-it notes, and it was like this little note of things to consider before I post. Like, did you talk about your vision? You know, did you share where you're going with this opportunity? Is this business focused, like leadership focused, or are you just fitness? Like, I had to remind myself because I was creating a new habit, right? I was becoming like, now I'm sharing. That's what they say when they say become the CEO, right? Like, I was becoming the CEO of like owning my business. This is where I'm going, and I want to take people with me. But I had to remind myself, get this notification out of here. I can't believe I've already talked for this long. I'm sorry, you guys. And then the third thing is, and something you need to master in order to hit diamond, is your why. You need to master your why, and it has to be strong. It has to be strong. And I wish I had like the magical answer, like this is it, but that's really, you have to have a strong why or you're going to give up. Like, why would you wake up doing something for anyone else, like when it's this hard, right? Like, coaching is amazing, but yes, it can be tough. Getting uncomfortable is tough, and you have to have that driving force. I want to live with my husband because I'm tired of not being a wife anymore and I'm miserable in my situation, or post on social media. Like, you have to have that thing that always outweighs it. I want to live with my husband, so hell yeah, I'm going to post this uncomfortable picture of my underwear on social media, right? So that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions about anything? It doesn't have to be related to this. I just didn't want to not give you any time.
I got a couple for you, Kandace.
Okay, go.
How are you going about with getting new coaches to get uncomfortable with starting to post a little more to social media concerning what it is they're doing, what they're up to with Beachbody? Because right now it seems I have new coaches who are just not taking that first initial step. They're taking the step with the train, but they're not taking the step with posting to their Facebook.
I try to say this in like a nice way. I guess that goes along with not holding on to the anchors, right? I mean, if they're not going to do the work in the business, this is social networking. We are network marketers. We work on freaking online. That's how our businesses thrive. So if you can't post on social media, I can't help you. Like, I can't help you build this business if you can't post. I'm not going to be a dick and be like, I'm not going to help you. But I mean, I tell them like, okay, so why won't you post? Like, what's the fear here? Maybe we can work through it. Like, ask some questions, right? And if they just don't want to do it, they just don't want to do it, and you'll be there when they do it, right? And you can let them know that. Like, I'll be here when you're ready to take that step, but like, I don't know how to help you if you're not doing it. Like, tell them you're literally hurting yourself by not sharing, because this business is built upon being relatable to people. And by you not sharing the beginning steps of you learning this business and struggling, you can't share just like the perfect after photo after you did the workout, right? You have to share the journey of how you got there. You can't just share, this is where I was, here I am now, join me, right? Because that's not relatable, right? Like, I tell them that too. I even use myself as an example. Would you relate to me if I only showed you what I have now, not how I got here? Would you think that would be possible for you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, think about your people then. This is your business, right? And if they can't do it after that, then they don't. And we got to move on.
I had another question for you too. I know you do well with sign up new coaches with challenge packs and everything. Do you have a certain cold invite process, or do you mostly stick to warm invites?
I do not.
Them first,
not like,
and send it.
No cold for me. I feel like this comes into play with consistency on your social media and connecting. When I am so consistent on my social media and what I have to offer, like, it's always out there. People always know what I'm doing and that I work out and that I have groups and that, you know, I can help them do it too. And then I'm literally getting my face out there, connecting on Instagram and Facebook, and just, oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my God, I love your dog. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that purse? Where are your shoes? I'm literally like everywhere, just commenting things to get myself out there. And then when someone responds back to me or asks me a question, maybe I'll personal message them. And or, you know, like Colleen, I know she likes to personal message people her connections. So she'll be like, oh my God, your hair is amazing. Where did you get it done? I'm looking for a new hairdresser, right? And then their conversation will go into something, and then it always leads to, what do you do? I see you post fitness all the time. Did I even answer the question, or did I just like, woo, way off there?
No, that was perfect. That was fine. I don't know if you had like a certain invite process or anything, so.
I feel like connecting and consistency on social media is key for me. Key. That's been the biggest, that's like the foundation of my business.
It's just weird because I know some people have such a success rate with sending out cold invites, but I wasn't sure what you did yourself, so.
I have nothing against them. If it works for people, it works. And I think that's great. For me, it feels like I'm like a salesman, and I don't like it. I mean, there are ways to make it personable, of course, by, you know, obviously doing your research on their timeline and finding out what they're about. But I don't know. I want to see if there's any questions in the comment.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Being a noob, I just watched a Power Hour video last night, and there were people like saying that they can get coaches off Pinterest. I was just wondering.
I've never used Pinterest for my business yet. What I was taught was to pick like 1 or 2 avenues of social media that you actually enjoy and that you understand, and then dominate that, and then move on to learning another one, rather than trying to put your hand in every single, you know, social media network. If Pinterest is your thing, I would definitely look into YouTube trainings on that. I personally have never, but that doesn't mean obviously it's not possible because someone's doing it. Do you use Facebook or Instagram?
I used to use Instagram more than Facebook, but also after watching that video, I've been confronting my battles with adding random people on Facebook, and I just got 2 leads today. Perfect.
I would definitely focus on the ones you're already using them before tackling another one, because you want to make sure you hone in on your vital behaviors, and, you know, you're already like dominant social media that you're using, which would probably be Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
But,
thank you.
Yeah. Sarah and Jen had questions. I'm trying to find them, and then every time I go up to the top, I
have a question too.
Hey.
Holly.
Hi.
Well, I also want to shout out Kim, who was just talking, and that's my coach, and she did a couple really awesome live videos for the first time this week. So I think that's really exciting. But I have a question in regards to, like, okay, I don't know if it's just me and the people that I've been adding, but I've seen more than a few, 2 types of people that are like calling out marketing people, right? Like right in their header, they'll put in there like, okay, don't message me anything about selling me any products, which I totally understand. But then there's been a few who have like posted statuses that are like, oh my gosh, I get 1 million messages from people trying to sell me stuff. Like, is it just me? Like, or do you guys see a lot of that? And I'm trying not to let it discourage me, but in the back of my mind, it did like put a fear in my mind, like, oh, well, I don't want everybody to think that I'm just adding them to sell them products, because Beachbody really is different than like a wrap.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're actually trying to sell people things, then I'd be worried about that. But if you're not, they're obviously not talking to you. And if they're negative, I don't know, I would get rid of them anyways. I don't know. I mean, I don't see that, but I also don't look for that. When I'm on social media, I'm really intentional about what I'm doing. I'm like connecting with people and looking for specific things, not really like scrolling too much.
I have a comment. Are you finding people who are in the same group? Like, how are you finding these people that seem to have this similar attitude towards people that are in marketing?
Well, I found out actually that, okay, if I go to people that you may know, like how they have it in Facebook, if I add people from there, somehow like the algorithm has made it where like a lot of those people are with other marketing programs like It Works or, whatever. And so I stopped doing that. I was like, okay, well, I guess I got put into this pool with other similar people. And so now they think that I may know these other women, which I don't. And a lot of the ones who were getting multiple messages from I guess that whole same pool of people were the ones that were posting these messages. So I kind of started to think in the back of my mind, like, wow, like, is our market oversaturated? Like, are there tons of people and so how do I set myself apart from other people who really do just want to sell products? Like, how do I really show, okay, I want to help people. I'm a health coach. I'm not here just to sell you a shake. And so I realized that once I go into my friends list, like people that I actually know, who I went to high school with or college with or whatever, and I go into their page and then I start adding people that I may know from their actual friends list, that I get people who are not in that whole marketing like pool.
I wouldn't